everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose
What
Romero.
up, nerds? Happy 1 week post Doctor Strange Day. No? Is
Yeah,
that
I
right?
guess so. It is literally a week to the day of if you want to count like the late Thursday pre-release and Friday official of Doctor Strange. It's been a week of. There's been all the speculations and the processes and the whole thing. I took the kids to see it. It's a whole. If you get a chance, Doctor Strange 4DX. If you know what
Oh, that's
4DX
right. You were
is, but
doing
it's
the yeah.
yeah.
You'd be
We did
splurging.
it. Well, you know what? I actually pulled it back a little bit because I wasn't sure if I had heard, and you had kind of talked a little bit. There is no Sam Raimi, a little bit of a horror element. It may have been too much for him, so I said, let me pull back. And of course, this is totally first world mentality. I didn't give my kids 4DX, so I didn't want to overwhelm them with the experience. So I did IMAX 3D. Basic, just
Okay.
enough to process something. No way this is gonna peek these kids out of their mind. It was fine. He even said that if we could do it again, I want to do the
Okay. Yeah,
4DX.
'cause I
So
don't
it
think
was fine.
because I don't
It's
think it was
cool.
that. I mean, every kid's different. You know how I mean.
Well,
Yeah.
he told me there was parts that he was
Okay.
scared, but he handled it.
Okay.
So he's very proud. He's like, I got this. Like, and I kind of know what yeah, we didn't talk specifics, but I kind of know. But it's if you haven't seen it, watch it. It is a good movie. We'll get into a spoiler-filled review on this episode. Me and Jose will go point counterpoint because we have similar but different takes on it. So much like Moon Knight, it's a little divisive. Some people and I think both IPs, both Doctor Strange and Moon Knight, suffer from the same problem,
Okay.
but different fan bases.
Fair
But
enough.
I'll get that as well.
Okay.
And we have tons of nerd news. It is, as always, we cover the week in geek here in Nerdsplaining. So, Jose, where do you want to start this wonderful
Oh,
magical journey?
let's. Where are we starting? We're gonna start with the Who Cares story, but it bears mentioning because it is a nerd topic. Just not for me.
Listen,
This is the personal thing. 'Cause I'm not a big fan or really a fan of the show.
if anybody cares, it's
It's
nerds.
nerd, right?
So,
Agreed. So I know there's a following for Doctor Who, right?
yes.
Not me, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. There's been many iterations with the character, I guess, and they announced the new casting. I'm not quite sure I'm saying this name right, but Nkudi Gatwa. I don't know if I say Gatwa.
Katawa?
I
Katawa?
forgive my
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, Butcher. Yeah,
right.
we never claim to be smart.
Right, listen, I
So,
think that's and just phonetically spelling it out. But if you're unfamiliar who he is, he's actually pretty good. I know him from I love the show Sex Education on Netflix. Really cool show. He's great in that show. Far different from what I expected to
with
see same as
great
Doctor Who.
enough great enough that you would actually watch an episode of Doctor Who in him to kind of see
No,
how he
okay,
handles the
no, I
role?
mean, no, this is not my kind of show. I never really got into it.
Okay,
But look,
there.
he's great on that show. So I
Okay.
get why they will cast him. And I know this isn't actually. I know it's big news because he's black, but he's not the first black Doctor Strange. I'm
No,
Doctor
you're right.
Strange.
There was
Doctor Who. Wrong Doctor.
I,
Um,
a lot of
wrong
doctors.
practice. But yeah, there was I guess was it Ruth or something?
A fugitive
Future?
doctor
Yeah, yeah,
in the future, which was a female black
yeah.
doctor.
So
So
this
he's
is a break new
technically
ground for them. They've had the female, obviously, the last Doctor Who,
right.
but it's something, right? I mean, listen, Casa Latino. Now we're in business, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
We,
But
we got the
listen,
male, we seen
listen.
female, we seen
I,
the black, some Latino in there, some Asian.
I,
Let's
I'm a little worried
mix it
because you
up.
cast a Latino, so it's gonna be a lot of Doctor K
That's fine. Yeah,
jokes. That
that's
is
fine.
gonna be like, oh God,
Hey, doctor.
maybe we shouldn't be included in this one just to give my brain
You
a
gotta
break.
spice it up,
That'd
dude.
be good.
I'm just saying. Look, Bad Bunny still his name's still out there. You
Oh jeez. Can Doctor Who go back in time and kill Bad Bunny so that this doesn't
Now
become a story? Is that
that
possible?
episode I will watch.
He erases the Bad Bunny
You got
timeline.
me
Like,
there. But it's interesting, Cat. Do you watch it? You like Doctor Who? I mean,
you know what? I got to tell you, when they rebooted the Doctor Who a series, a little bit like an early 2000s, with I forgot his name, but he's a very skinny, like short haired English guy. He was on the first season of Heroes. He was the guy who turned invisible in
yeah,
Heroes.
I know. I
Um,
can't think of his name, but I don't know
yeah,
what you're talking
again,
about.
I
Yeah.
just forgot his name right now, but he's really good. And also the guy who ended up playing the Purple Man in Jessica Jones. He unfortunately
Oh yeah,
he
he
was in
was
a
one of the doctors.
he some of his episodes are really good.
Is it Matt Smith? The guy you're thinking of?
I think it's Matt
The
Smith.
other
Yeah,
guy,
I
yeah,
think it
he
is.
was in.
I think it is.
I remember, nah, his face came to mind because he was in, unfortunately, and Morbius. Yeah,
Right, right. No, the Matt Smith is somebody else. No, Matt Smith is after the guy who
Oh,
played Jessica Jones.
well,
Yeah,
let me see.
two
We'll have
different.
Peter Capaldi. Yeah, either way, neither here nor there. I was just kind of curious, just for my own
But no,
edification.
but like I said, so there's a couple of doctors I know that I like. I remember actively as a kid watching Doctor Who on like
Yeah,
PBS
I
on
remember
like
that.
on like weeknights at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, "What is this?" Like I thought that all this was what adult TV was. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Adults are saying, as kids, we watch Sesame Street, and adults are watching Doctor Who. None of this makes sense. It's all a gobbledygook. I can't trust any kind of reality. But yeah, I mean, listen, I appreciate it. Once again, not my cup of tea either. I have friends who are huge Doctor
Yeah,
Who fans.
it's kind of fodder.
Doctor Who, Doctor Who is like the band Rush. There's a large group of people who are super into it, but it's not for everybody.
I would say more Dave Matthews than Rush. I think. Because Dave
No, I
Matthews has
think
that
that Rush has a bigger
following.
following.
I think
I
a big
could have
following, but
said
again, it's
Fish.
not.
I
They're like kind of Grateful Dead, kind of the Deadheads, what they call them.
yeah,
Similar,
yeah,
but they're not really. They're big amongst certain circles,
look,
but
Fish, Grateful Dead, Rush.
sure, same
Obviously
little pot.
it's that sort of like yeah, and the people who like Fish and Grateful Dead and Rush, they're like dirty hippies, and Doctor Who fans are the dirty hippies of nerddom. So you're just like you sci-fi nonsense. I mean, listen, it's optimistic. You go have fun, enjoy
Yeah, they're
yourselves.
like the
So
nerd, the step-headed red child cousins, nerd
it
of the
kind,
nerd
I mean,
world, right? I mean, they
it's
still
not
count as
because
nerds, but are they really?
there's
I mean,
there's like legit good
I'm
storylines
sure they
and
are. Yeah,
really
the fuck around.
like so like I can't poo-poo on it on it's just not for me.
Right.
I can acknowledge it being done well
Sure.
academically,
Yeah.
just it doesn't move something in
No,
me.
I agree. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I can't say it's back 'cause I haven't seen. I can't do it. I remember when I was a kid watching PBS, and that's about
Right.
it. And I think I did try years ago, and I just like, it just wasn't my thing. I thought it was bad. It just wasn't my thing. Whatever.
I
It is
mean,
what it is, right? It's
listen,
not.
Doctor Who fans are light years above Titans fans. So I mean, there's always a lower rung,
You
and
talking
and,
about
and
Titans,
it's like
the DC show, or the
the DC show, right?
I don't
Exactly on
know.
HBO
I
Max.
would
Yeah,
say probably
yeah.
Titan fan. I'm sure there's one person out there who likes this show. I'm not sure.
Oh no,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
it's
there's
fan. No,
like
I'm just joking. I'm
16 of
sure
them.
there is.
There's a
I'm
solid
sure there is.
sixteen
Yeah,
who like robocall the viewership and they take it up and like we saved it again,
yeah. Those are like
guys.
the
All 16 of
crazy
us.
uncle of the nerd world. You don't acknowledge him, but he's still part of the family. That's what the Titans fans are.
No, because it is crazy. There's some sort of intellectual process functioning that's making you see things that aren't there. Titans fans, I believe it's like, if you just finished your shock therapy treatment, is your brain not totally cognitive? Enjoy Titans. Don't think they're not. So
Well
it's
said. So there it is. So listen, interesting news. I do like the casting. I do like him a lot. He's getting his dues. Good for him. I think he's like 29 or 30. He's a young guy, young cat.
oh yeah, great.
Speaking of guys who should not be getting their due, in this case, and that's Ezra Miller. There was some news dropping, and when I first
Okay,
heard the news, it was nothing confirmed by one of the big trades, right? Variety,
sure.
Deadline, etc. But apparently, there was rumors that Ezra Miller was, I guess, going to be recast, or the thoughts of being recast. I think then it was like a Dylan O'Brien. He was in Teen Wolf, never saw it. There's a couple other movies, The Internship, Love and Monsters, is the other one, I think that's called. I forget, which is not a bad movie. But either way, so he's a young guy, good looking guy. All right, he fits the mold, right? So the thing about replacing him, unsure if they meant in the movie or moving forward beyond the film coming out next year. So that was a big rumor flying around everywhere. And I guess yesterday was debunked, actually.
Of
But
course, if you're gonna replace Ezra Miller with an Ezra Miller type, you get the guy who was in Eternals as Druig, and he played the Joker in the Matt Smith the Batman. That dude is. If you can't get Ezra Miller, you get that
well,
dude.
at this point, you don't want to get Ezra Miller. Uh, Ezra Miller's off the table. But yeah, it was debunked. I guess they, which is what what the words they use by Warner Bros. Is he's not going to be replaced in the Flash. They were very careful with the words they chose. So it seems like they weren't, which I didn't think they were going to recast in the movie,
They
right?
had to. They had to. It's literally a numbers game. They
Right,
had
it's
to.
too much money. They can't do it. So, but they didn't quite say they're not recasting beyond that. So I'm not sure if the Dylan O'Brien is the guy, or you know how it is. Someone dropped a name and all, the telephone game, right?
But I'm sure there's a short list
Oh,
out there,
I'm
and they
sure.
are
Yeah, I'm sure I'm
heavily.
sure
Just,
if they are, they're not announcing that anytime soon. I don't see why they announce it until after the Flash comes
if
out.
they were
They
smart,
wait.
they would do what we said at the end of the Flash movie. That's how you
Right.
backdoor this new
You maybe
recast.
announce a quick casting before the film comes out, and then there's a shot at the end and credit scene, whatever, with him there or whatever, right? That would make sense,
That's
right?
it.
That one, because that way you set it up,
That's
and the next film you know what's going to happen, as opposed to just, hey guys, here's whoever. So, the casual audience isn't hearing any shit, right? So
sure.
they're not gonna know what the fuck is going on. So, but yeah, so yeah, debunked. That was not gonna happen anytime soon. But it's a year away. There's no way we're gonna get in that kind of announcement.
It's
He may
because
have been fired. They wouldn't even say anything until
of
after the
course
film,
not.
right? It doesn't
No.
make sense. Why would they? It's bad business. And I'm sure Ezra Miller, I'm sure they got NDAs and all kinds of shit. If he is fired, don't say anything, that kind of deal, whatever, hush hush. Because it happened with Ben Affleck when we
Right.
knew, well, they knew we got recast. They knew he wasn't going to
Uh-huh.
direct the band with Matt Reeves and whatever, all this other stuff. And
And they slowly, like, just slowly whittled you into the
even Ben
idea.
Affleck came out one of the cons. Oh, I love to work for Matt Reeves, and he was good shoulder,
Oh
good
man,
shoulder.
listen,
Hey,
listen.
he did it, and we all knew
How
he
did
was gonna.
that dude not get the at least an Academy Award nomination for talking about how he was really excited to work with Matt
Right.
Reeves?
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
is,
He played
yeah.
his role. Good for him. But we all, but he knew. I obviously they all inside there. They all knew he was gone.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
it was probably
absolutely.
almost they were casting as they spoke. So, so yeah, I assume this is gonna be something similar. So yeah, I'm just God's a year away. I really wish this movie was quicker, because this
Uh,
is gonna linger out here. It's like a carrot on a string. It's just like
by the time the movie comes out, it'll be known as Flash, the fastest man to fly off the handle and
for real.
break into a domestic violence assault
I mean,
17
Warner
times in
Bros
a
is like
year.
nervous and the pins and needles that
This guy can figure
that
that.
this idiot doesn't do anything wrong the next 12 months, for Christ's sake. Because
Yeah.
I think one more act like this, and it's wow, it's nuclear at that
We
point.
should. Do you want to put a bet on it? Because you put bets like how movies are going to open. What are the chances that Ezra Miller will actually go to jail before the Flash comes out?
Um, wow, I'm gonna say zero. I think, and this is it's a little too optimistic. I think he's gonna play
All right,
ball
all right, uh huh.
for the rest of the year.
I I
I don't
give
see any.
him.
I'd be surprised. I mean, well, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm sure he's had a talking to by everybody around him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to tell you right now. The summer. If anyone here knows police officers, they'll tell you that the summer has the highest crime rate because so many people are hot. They fly off the handle and they get upset. And if Ezra Miller is becoming upset in a air conditioned mansion, then he's not going to make it to September. So I think he's going to go to jail sometime in the summer. He's going to literally flip out, and they're going to be like,
Listen,
"That's it."
it won't shock me ultimately, but I know WB's like fingers crossed, because if that happens,
I mean, yeah, total finger calls. They probably like 8 nannies on
man,
him, and that's why he's going to go to jail. He's going to
they
fight
have to
all of them.
babysit it. They really do, because if something else goes wrong, they're gonna have to recast, and it's gonna cost them God knows how. Well, then it's for sure going HBO Max, and they'll
Oh,
just take
easy.
it up the ass. Okay, whatever. HBO Max, a nice little small marketing campaign, and move on. Recast with whomever and move on, because
Oh man, they're gonna have to throw so much money at Michael Keaton because he goes, "I was promised back end."
for
You
you
sons
may
of
be right
bitches.
about that. So it'll be a disaster for him. But that bad out of the way, let's just talk some good stuff here. Because we know
All right.
we got a little Thor coming out soon, right? We saw the trailer
Oh yeah.
recently.
Oh yeah.
We got to do a little prices right in a minute on that one, because we haven't done that one. We haven't done
All
that
right.
one yet. But so yeah, so they're talking to Taika Waititi, of course, who we both love, and talking about the movie, and he comes out and says, I mean, it's director speak. It's his film. I get it. What else is he going to say? So take it with a
Sure.
grain of salt. But they're
All right.
saying, Gorr the God Butcher is going to be the best villain in MCU history. Not a high bar, to be perfectly fair. We got a couple.
But there are high bars
We got a
there.
couple good villains, but for the most, the villain's always been the biggest issue in Marvel overall, right?
Absolutely. But
Overall,
I'm
right?
saying
Overall.
there is like there's precedent for some solid
Right. No, but
villains.
there's some good ones. There's some good, obviously, but not a lot, right? But
Right. Yeah.
so it doesn't say
Absolutely.
a whole lot. But at the end of the day, that's some bold statements. Again, what is he gonna say? Oh, we got a mediocre villain in this movie. Whatever, right?
Well, okay. Look, let's put it this way. I'll ask you this question. Um, who would you list as your go-to top Marvel MCU villains? Like that we've seen. Who do you like? These are the villains that I go. These guys made an
Thanos,
impact.
obviously. Killmonger, I think was really good. Um, I don't really count. Actually, I always see Loki more of an anti-hero good guy, so I never really count him.
But he started off a villain, and
But he wasn't great as a villain to begin with.
he
He was
was
never a real.
he worked as a
Yeah,
villain,
no, I
especially
get
in
he
the
was a villain.
Avengers.
He was likable, but he wasn't a threat at all. No one thought this could stop. He was
I found him. I felt that he was a threat in the
and he
Avengers.
was always and Thanos was always behind him puppeteering. So
I
he
mean,
wasn't even the
yes,
guy, right? So
obviously, but
I just didn't have that impact. I'm
still,
not saying he's terrible, but I'm saying he didn't have that
okay,
impact where I'm
sure,
like, yeah,
fine,
Loki.
all right. So
Um,
right now you got Killmonger. Who
Killmonger,
else?
Thanos,
Thanos.
obviously.
Sure.
I'm trying to remember who else. Nothing. No. 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 Michael Keaton in Homecoming. Vulture.
Vulture. Vulture. Solid.
And that's as far as like really good villains. I think those are the three.
All right. So I agree.
Maybe
I'll go a
missing
little
one. I
deeper.
don't know. Maybe you can think of something.
I'll throw Loki in the mix. I feel Loki
Fair enough.
he's an anti-hero
It's
now,
fair.
but
Yeah,
event
it's fair.
much like they even pointed out in the Loki series when he was taking out that dude's eye, he was having a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
He was not like,
I
oh
love the
yeah,
character.
like,
I love Loki.
so yeah,
But it's fair. It's fair.
Loki,
I can't
fair.
think who else.
I would throw. I know this is one of those things where you don't think about it at first, but Commander Pierce from Winter Soldier, the High Hydra agent. I really liked him because the whole Hydra infiltrating Shield to be that methodical that you're not only the head of Hydra, but you're the head of Hydra
I
in
liked them, but
Shield,
I just
and you're on top of Nick Fury. Like that whole once again, it's one of those dark horses. But if you understand like what it took for him to get there to pull this off, even though it was revealed, that's a pretty badass plot. Like
it's a good
like
plot. But I just as far as pure villain in the film, he's good. But it's just they had so many other people in that film, whether it be we had Winter Soldier
he
was in
was
there. He was a guy behind
he
that
was the
guy.
villain equivalent of like the most evilest
Right.
accountant, but you're still an
Right,
evil
the
accountant.
idea of him was great, but I just him as a
Right.
villain wasn't. His presence was.
It's not
It wasn't
sexy.
there the whole film. Like
It's
his
not a
presence
sexy
wasn't
villain.
felt the whole movie at the end for the entirety.
It's not a sexy villainy, but
Right.
I feel like
He's
I
fine.
put
Listen,
him
he's not.
in
I'm not saying he sucked. He was fine. Yeah.
and I guess
So I'm saying it's tough, man. Out of 20 some movies, the fact that we'll have to think about it says a lot about the villain.
because here's the thing. I'm thinking about
like
who's
a
the high
good,
bar?
good. Like,
Who's the high bar? Yeah, because there's good like below them. I would put people like I thought Ronan was a good villain, but not at that level. But he's like second tier. Like he's like silver medal because he's a good henchman villain. He's a guy who thinks he's smart enough,
but he's not like with the
And
great villains. His name, I think the three, even if you put Loki in there, those four are the ones that stand out, right? Far and beyond the rest. The rest are can be okay, to be just weak.
I like Hela. Hela's in that second tier silver medal too.
I'll give a second tier. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying. Even Ego, I think Ego is a good second tier villain too. And once again, but like most of us were like, oh man, like everyone is always attracted to, oh, it's the villain that you can kind of agree with. And I get those are the best memorable villains, but sometimes just a dick is a great villain. And let's not take away sometimes
we're just
just
talking about
being a dick.
About great, standout villain.
But no, I'm talking about like if this is the gold medal, which we have like four or five guys. I have five, you have three, but we're the same three.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know what I mean. So like it's still there. But like even like the Vulture, you understand why he is his way. So that's what makes him such an intriguing, honest, relatable villain. But like sometimes you just need a shocker, just a dick. Like, and that's the whole like the thing. Like, I the silver tier villains are the villains who may be even stronger than what we see, but they're just dicks. They're not relatable because you're like, I can never be that much of a dick, and they're just a bunch of dicks, and
They
which
just
makes
don't
them
they don't
also
stand
equally
they don't
good
stand out
villains.
at the end of the day, right? They're not great.
They
They
don't
don't stand
stand
out.
out, but
They're
their plans make sense.
sure.
They're capable of. They have a follow through. They're convicted. It's all that it is just aren't as mesmerizing as a Thanos or a
Right.
Killmonger or a Vulture, but they're just as deadly and their plans have just as much validity. It's just that instead of you going, I could see why Hela would do that. You're like, man, she's a real dick, and that's sometimes let's not. I think dick villains don't get the credit that they're due. And
I think we're just beyond that. I think at this point, because
but no, we're not because we have dick villains in real life and they cause a shit ton of problems. So dick villains are just as dangerous as the masterminds.
yeah. Well, listen, I love a dick villain. I mean, you go back to the movies we used to watch back in the 80s, 90s. That's all we got, right? And like I said, but I think we're
Right.
just everyone's kind of they want to see something more out of the villain. So I can get it. I get it, right? We want either something mysterious, something like Joker we don't know anything about, but yet you
Sure.
like his idea, or someone who's relatable to a certain degree, understand what he's a villain for a reason. The
Right.
villain believes what he's doing is the right
But
thing. Like Thanos believed that hey, half the universe
but
have to get snapped out.
do you know who's one of the greatest villains of movie history? Fucking Biff from Back to the Future.
But again,
Don't
80s movie, right?
dick villain. A dick
No,
villain.
of course. No,
But a
listen,
dick villain, not a
I'm with you,
mastermind.
but I just saying, I think the movies now kind of got past that. That's what I'm saying. They're not giving us that anymore. They
I
rarely give
feel
us
like
that and do it with it. Just they want more,
I feel
whatever
like
it's worth.
if you can dick villains, I think because dick villains feel so real to me. Part is just the attitude of being a dick. They're so
Yeah.
real that I've learned to appreciate them just as much as the mastermind. Now, if you're just a villain that you're a one note and there's no depth to you and anything like that, then
Yeah,
but
well, to me that's what ruining
like
is. But even we'll stick with Marvel. Talking about Marvel, Marvel always has a habit of turning you're not really bad. You just misunderstood. Or whatever, like Wanda, right? She's not really a villain. Just made her a villain. They go more towards lean towards more of that than anything else, with the exception of some of the ones
right.
that we've named, which
Well,
is why they stand out above most of the others, right?
I don't want to get into Wanda just yet because I want to talk about the full review of Doctor Strange when
But
we
I'm saying
get
she's the villain
there.
of the movie. I mean, it's essentially she is, right?
Yeah,
Right.
she has a villain
Right.
movie,
She's the
obviously, right?
antagonist.
Correct.
So from that sense, they like to do more of that than give us a good villain most of the times. Most
Yes,
of the times, right?
yes.
So I mean, either way. So back to the Gore, right?
The Gorr.
Listen, I trust Taika. You know what?
If
This movie looks great, so I'll take him at his
I
word.
trust Taika and I trust
Chris,
Christian
thank
Bale.
you.
I feel like
Yes,
he's gonna bring a lot to the table to why he's gonna be like a top
and
tier
I'll say
villain.
this
You know,
because Christian Bale had said before, he's never doing a superhero movie again.
right,
His words. Now, maybe he meant at the time, and that's fair. But maybe he read the script and was like, "Dang, this guy there's something there about this." When he read the script, and he's like, "I want
right.
in on this." Right? For him to volunteer to be in this film after he said no more, that speaks volumes as to the potential of the character. Right? I mean, and Christian Bale is awesome.
Let's
Let's just get that straight right away.
I will say this: I don't think Christian Bale. I don't think the script is what made Christian Bale finally agree. I think that Christian Bale uh, watched Jojo Rabbit and
Don't get me
loved
wrong.
it.
Listen, a good director,
And
yeah,
Taika sold him on the idea of what Gorr the God Butcher is from the comic books, and then let him read the Jason Aaron run with Gorr the God Butcher, and that blew him away. He goes, "If this is who I'm gonna be, then
so
I'm
that he
in."
liked the character, he
And
liked how it was written. Trust me,
exactly, it's
they
I
all
felt
read the
I think
script.
he
Yeah,
probably read the
they all
comic,
read the script
not
before
even
they
the
sign on
script.
to a movie.
Yeah,
This is how no one does.
exactly.
All do it and then just read the script after. It doesn't happen that way. So I'm sure he read it. And everything that he knew was like, this is a really great character, and who doesn't want to work with Taika, right? It all made sense. So the fact that he's in it, I think, speaks volumes. Maybe he's right. Let's see.
Yeah,
But now he set the bar high though. The expectations
it's
has set
true.
though.
That's
His words.
true.
It's not like it's Kevin Feige saying it's the actual. We're gonna hold you to that, right? So now
Listen,
now he better be not just saying be the best MCU, but he needs to be great because you set that
I
bar.
I'm not
you know,
I'm not trying to make excuses, but you know, after they finished filming, that Taika Waititi had that party where he woke up the next day with the girl who plays Valkyrie, and I think uh, Tessa Thompson. It was Tessa Thompson and another chick who's in the movie, and it looked like they had spent the night together. You know, the menage or somethings, and I'm like, if you are that badass that you've written a script, made a movie, and then these two chicks are like, Taika, tonight's your lucky night. That script must be hot fire because they've been from beginning to end, literally.
I'm
so
not doubting it.
I'm just saying.
This may be the best superhero film we see this year. I think personally.
I think it's probably hands down. It'd be the most fun. That's what they. It's gonna be
which is fair, right? Yeah, like I think this will be better than Doctor Strange. I don't have any doubt about that. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. Villain being great or not, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I mean, if it has a great villain, that's going to help the movie because every movie with a great villain always works more.
I will say, Doctor Strange has one. I mean, Doctor Strange. Thor has one thing going for it, which is a complete unified vision for what this movie was. Because you got to remember, this movie was originally created for the director of the first Doctor Strange under another script, and then they got Sam Raimi, and then they rewrote the script with the guy from Loki. So this project went through too many hands.
I agree with that 100%. And that's like I said, that's why I don't doubt this movie's gonna be better. I'd be shocked if if it's not. I'd be really disappointed if I come back and say tier 3. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
That would
shocking.
suck.
I anticipate nothing less than high tier 2. Nothing less than that.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Hopefully that's the case or not. So let's stick with Feige. Well, let me adjust you here. Star Wars news. We got Star Wars Celebration in a few weeks. We got Obi-Wan in a couple of weeks. I'm excited for. Foolishly excited for. Damn, Kathleen Kennedy. So I guess we all knew. Obviously, actually it's funny because that announcement seems like 8 years ago. Well, Kevin Feige was going to produce his own Star Wars film.
I remember that. Yes, it was during the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, I think, and we haven't heard shit.
And also, Taika was announced a Star Wars movie for him too.
Yeah, we know Patty Jenkins announced, and that whole thing went sour. It's on hold for whatever that means. So whatever. But the Taika, we haven't heard anything. Granted, he was doing Thor, so maybe, he was.
That's what's next.
Maybe that's we'll find out soon about that next one. I got a feeling. I hope to get an announcement of that in a couple weeks, right? It seems like the perfect time to announce it would be, Taika's done with Thor. By the way, I don't know. I'm just maybe this movie that's coming out now is going to be the one that he's directing. I don't know. Maybe, right?
Maybe.
Possibly, because we don't know. And we haven't said shit. So they talked to the writer, who I think wrote Doctor Strange, too.
Right.
And he was talking about, this movie. And, he's saying that, some of the words he used, original, nothing tied to the prequels or sequels. It's going to be a fresh idea for whatever that's worth. I can live with that. I like the fact that it's not, which I had a feeling wasn't going to be a part of whatever world that's been created already in terms of the sequels, prequels, and other sequels and whatever, right? The original trilogy.
Right.
That's all he said. But I got a feeling that usually when they can make these little things, because usually you shut the fuck up about it, right? We're not ready to talk about it. If we're ready to talk about it, I got a feeling in Star Wars Celebration, we're probably going to get something. Either a plot,
possibly,
a director, a date, something. I mean, anything that would just, how
crazy would it be that in the middle, like on Saturday during Star Wars Celebration, in the middle of whatever panel they're doing, Kevin Feige walks out with the writer. I forgot his name right now. And it's something Waldron, something Waldron, Michael Waldron. There you go. And
it is Waldron. Yes,
and they just showed the graphic, and the announcement is the title of the movie. That's it.
I'd be fine with
that.
That
would blow. That would blow the fucking roof off the place.
Because I'm thinking they have to announce something, right? We know Obi-Wan's coming out, so that's no surprise there. We know Mando's coming out. That's not a big reveal.
Oh, well,
maybe we'll get footage or something. Maybe
They just announced Ahsoka started filming yesterday.
But we know that's coming out. We know, like, the stuff we know that's coming, we know already. We know, what's this guy, the one with the 5 seasons? Andor. Was it Andor?
Caspian.
Right.
Andor.
So we know that's been released. They got to give us something new here, particularly with the film, because everything we mentioned has been TV. For the most part, right? We know the shows are coming out, but nothing in the movies, man. We have heard jack. So I don't know if I got to give us something. You're right. Even a title alone, I'm good with. because like, it kind of
Yeah.
makes it real. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
You're right.
all right, it's coming. We got a title, and then speculation, and I'm sure as soon after that, they'll start dropping more info and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe even a date, man. A title and a date.
I don't think they're gonna
Whatever
do a date.
X
I think they're gonna
movie
show a title.
2024. I don't think it's coming before 2024. Obviously, it's not because after
Probably
it's not
not.
happening.
No.
But they can start shooting as early as if it's ready next year. A year filming, post, and all that. 2024. And there's no question about that. Christmas
Yeah.
time or whatever they do with those releases. Usually it's Christmas. That's the last Star Wars movies were Christmas time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know Avatar's coming up for the next 16 years apparently, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
But whatever.
if we could squeeze between those massive tent poles, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure they'll have to maneuver that because they're not releasing both in December. I can guarantee you that, unless the Avatar tanks. But that being said, yeah. So let's see, man. Listen, this is. I mean, I like originality. I always said let's move away from what we know already, right? Give us something new. The only thing that concerns me is a Doctor Strange 2 writer. So he may tease all this Jedi stuff, and the trailer shows his lightsabers, and then get the movies. It's going to show us a picture of a guy who had a lightsaber, and that's all we get.
Listen,
so that's concerning. That is concerning.
We'll get into the specifics.
You know,
we'll get into it.
He might call it Sith versus Jedi, and it's just a name of a book that somebody reads in the beginning and never hear about it again.
Yeah.
So
sounds riveting.
But listen, all jokes aside,
it's like an old time radio.
Really, yeah. so hopefully it's good. But listen, yeah, I expect they gotta drop something. It's gotta give us something at Star Wars Celebration, and Obi-Wan don't count because we're all gonna get it. That shit don't count.
Obviously. I mean, we're getting the first 2 episodes during that.
Yeah,
weekend,
so that.
Yeah.
I mean, Ahsoka's too soon to give us anything on. Andor, Cassian, maybe then give us something on that. Mando, but that's not enough, man. We need more than that. We know that's coming.
I agree.
Something good. So, Kathleen Kennedy, come on. Just saying. Step it up. Hate you.
Yeah.
And hate you. Oh, no, it's kidding. That being said, those are the nuggets.
The nuggets.
Now, main course time. We've been teasing it. We've been talking about it. The strange one. The other doctor. Sorry, Doctor Who. Step aside for a second.
We're talking successful doctors, not doctors who just linger around because they have Alzheimer's, bumping into things and going, have you seen my children?
Actually, you know what? Real quick, so I forgot. I had this written down. I totally forgot. So I'm up 2-1 so far on the Price is Right. So there's a chance to tie it up.
How so?
There's a chance to tie it up here.
Okay.
So Thor.
All right.
Percentage Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna go me, and we go you. So what do you got?
I'm gonna go 90.
I'm actually gonna go higher, dude. I'm gonna go 94 on that one. I got.
Honestly, I think. Look, little side. I think it's gonna be 91, but I figured if I go just a little below, it'll be a better than yours. But since you went 94, if I still get 91,
91's yours.
90's close.
91's yours. Yeah. So 91. We'll say up to.
I say it's 90, just in case, but I think it's gonna go 91.
So 92 is a tie. 92, 91,
92 is a tie.
93 goes to one of us. So, or obviously below 90. Above 94. Yeah, I got a feeling 90. Yeah, I got a feeling. I think the first time we both had it something high.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just off the pedigree.
No, yeah, and I'm just kind of curious what the Thor Ragnarok got. I know the first Thor probably wasn't as well received.
I think Thor Ragnarok got something in like the high 80s, low 90s. 93. Yeah. See, there you go.
So
see.
That's interesting. The first, what was the other one? Or Dark? What the Dark World? I think it was a 60 something or 70, if I'm not mistaken.
It was that good.
Yeah.
The first Thor, I think, got like a 70 or 80, so it was pretty decent.
I think so. I have to look that up. Okay, I keep pulling up something else. Either way, but yeah, the last one was 93. So if it's anything like Ragnarok, I think we'll be there. So, but either way, little sidetrack. So I got that here and down here. So,
no
Doctor Strange. My thoughts. Let's start there. Let's just give us your impressions of the film, Warmer.
Sure. It was good. Good night, everybody. No,
all right. That's all we got.
That's it.
Concise.
Okay.
I like it.
You know what? I got to tell you. I think the overall thing I will say about this, like I said, is that Doctor Strange suffers from the same problem of Moon Knight, which is Moon Knight, based on the trailers and the way the episodes were going, made people, especially Moon Knight fans, like the hardcore Moon Knight fans, they were expecting one thing. And because they didn't get exactly what they thought was going to be the range of what they got, because it was different and like to the left, they were like, "Oh man," I was like, "No, we said like the first 5 episodes are great. It's the last episode that did try to do too much and left a lot of stuff unresolved, and it became a pacing issue, and it was just it was all over the place. We're trying to resolve everything in less time, which was just doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense
that's
whatsoever.
whatever.
And I feel because the show had set this standard that we thought the ending has to hit this standard or
Mhm.
above it, because it hit just that standard, but like the low end of that standard, we're like, and we're disappointed. Doctor Strange sold us an idea of a multiverse of madness, and
It's in the title.
what we got was a title and like 3 pit stops and then like one weekend summer camp, and it was like, okay,
Right.
I get this, but it's not. And once again, it's not because it was
No, no,
bad.
no, not at all.
It was just that we had built in our heads, because of what we were being sold or what it was come before. We had built in our heads what we wanted, and because we just got this other thing, we're like, well, then what the hell was all of this
Right,
for?
and it
So,
goes and listen. I know sometimes we're victim of expectations, and it's not the movie's fault, right? Like
right.
something like WandaVision, right? Everyone just jumped in with their own theories, so I understand that, right? With this one, I just think this with the title, they're calling it Multiverse of Madness, right? They had all this secret stuff coming out, and they want to keep it low. All this
They went back and taped 6 weeks of additional
right, and
stuff. Like it
all
was
these rumors coming out. I don't know, didn't start the rumors, but they were saying stuff like big surprise, and it just so it set up our expectations more. So to
absolutely,
that is their fault. So
absolutely.
again, it depends, but yeah, it didn't deliver on that promise, which is my biggest complaint. Which is it was a Doctor Strange 2 movie, not a bad thing.
Which in a
It's
way
fine,
is
yeah,
great, because we both said, I hope Doctor Strange
right,
is the Doctor
which
Strange
you were worried
movie.
about before.
That's how much we had built in our heads with the
Yeah,
insanity of the things. Like Doctor Strange gonna have no time for
yeah,
nothing. He's gonna be just, hey, I'm over here. Oh, look over there. That's what we thought. So like we're
yeah,
like, oh wow, this was actually a Doctor Strange
yeah.
movie. Now, was it the best Doctor Strange movie? No. Was it a good Doctor Strange movie?
That's
Yes.
a good movie. I liked it.
And that's the thing. Like I know some people are complaining, like, "Well, Doctor Strange doesn't have an arc." Well, because Doctor Strange is not one of those dudes who wears his heart on his sleeve. He internally processes everything, and the entire crux of the movie is the minute his love now married somebody else, and she goes, "Are you happy?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I'm happy for you." That one line is the premise of the entire movie, which is when you are not happy, you can be honest with yourself and deal with it, or you can hide and obsess on the what ifs. And what now? The big challenge is, what if the second and first most powerful wizards had the chance or the ability to change things? How far would they go? I know, and so some people feel like Doctor Strange have an arc. I go, his arc is there to the point that he even admits to the other.
Right, that he loved her.
I
Yeah,
forgot her name.
Christine.
Right.
Christine. Yeah.
Christine, he goes, I love you in every universe, which is true.
Right.
We saw
Mhm.
a what if episode where he loved her so much he destroys the entire
Right.
dimension.
Right.
So like clearly he loves her in every universe, and like people point to that one line, but that one line does exemplify his entire arc.
Yeah.
Is coming to terms like, I do love her, I just can't have her, and I have to be okay with that because this is the bigger job. And or you look at Wanda, people are like, oh, Wanda, they just made her a villain, and she's obsessing with her children, which makes her like a stereotype of like what negative women
Yeah.
impulses. And
I
I'm
would agree
like,
with that. But yeah.
and I don't agree with that, because I'm like, in the end of WandaVision, you see her with the black hold and the dark hold, and it's called the dark hold because the darkness gets a hold
Right.
of you and it's corrupting her. So you literally see her fingertips are gone black from all the corruption
Mm-hmm.
the dark hold has given her. So I understand people are like, this doesn't make any sense. He goes, it does make
Yeah.
sense. I mean, could they have done it in a different way? I mean, listen, would it have been more emotionally rewarding if it looked like Wanda was helping them the whole time, and then you find out that she was the Kaiser Sose pulling the strings, and it's been her all along, almost doing like her own Agatha in a
One hundred
sense?
percent. Yes. Yeah.
That you would have been like,
Yeah.
oh, I saw the corruption,
Yeah.
and
That
it's not that you saw
reveal
the corruption,
in the movie was too early for that. I thought.
was
Wait.
way
I'm
too
like,
early, and I think
okay.
that's the part that lost people. Is like they
Yeah.
wanted to feel like they were watching her get corrupted, and then the big twist was you didn't watch her get corrupted. You watch her give less and less a crap of pretending that she hasn't been this way the whole
Right.
time. And it's that like I'm done with that. That would have made it super interesting. Like imagine if it was for the most part it was Wanda, America Chavez, and Doctor Strange traveling through the multiverses, and then as they were interrogating Steven, and because they meet the Illuminati, which is like the big set piece of the movie. Really, is when they
Yeah,
meet the
basically.
Illuminati. She was the one who was making everyone get aggressive and crazy until Doctor Strange realized she was doing it, and that was the big reveal that she's been controlling this thing the whole time. And that would have been, you could have called back to it was Agatha all along, and then you would have had the whole like her becoming like a super mutant Terminator and wiping out everybody. Because let's be honest, uh, as cool as it was to watch the Illuminati have killed Thanos and then kill Doctor Strange, um, watching Wanda kill the Illuminati, because they were like, hey, remember how it took all like 8 movie franchises to stop Thanos and they failed? These 5 guys did it. And now they're going to go after Wanda and she's going to smoke them like she's not even trying. Like, when you see that, it's meant to show you how dangerous she has become.
Right.
Some people are like, oh, they were just there as cannon fodder. Like, in a way,
In a
yeah,
way,
but
yeah.
only after
In a
you
way, yeah.
saw.
And I like that's one of those scenes where I said I liked and disliked at the same time. Was I couldn't talk about it then. It was cool as shit to see it. And I like that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it was just weird because what's this guy, the Inhuman guy, whatever.
Oh, Black Bolt, Ensign
Black. There
Malik.
you go. So about to fight, and
When he loses
right,
his mouth.
she did the old Matrix, kind of
Uh-huh.
move on him, whatever. So and then with Mr. Fantastic, and she whatever does to him, and yada yada.
She unravels him and pops his head like a balloon.
Right.
It's
I just don't know
bananas.
why and all of a sudden she didn't do it for the rest. It was kind of weird how power. We're not really sure what she can do. She can do that. She could have just taken their eyes off everyone like that and be done with it. It was kind of weird how they chose to go with that
I
scene. Really, Captain Carter's the one that's giving the most trouble. Really, I
Well,
mean,
only because Captain Carter, because she doesn't have so many powers, she has to move. Has to move around a
no,
lot,
I
and
get, but
so
she can
she's
just
trying to.
take her leg. I mean, just think if you can take someone's mouth like that or unravel.
Well, here's the way I see it is that because
It was
Black
cool though.
Bolt and Mister Fantastic are Inhumans and like mutates and their powers are so extensive, it's even though she can control reality, it is still an effort for her. So as she went after Captain Carter and Captain Marvel after taking out Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic. So she needed to give herself a little bit of a boost. So she's doing like some mid-level hits. Think of it like a video game. You get your high kick, your medium kick, and your low kick. She just hit 2 high kicks, so she's got to power back up. So she's doing medium, medium, medium until she finally gets that level, and that's when she finally just grabs the shield and cuts Captain Carter in half, and then goes ham on Captain Marvel. Like to me, I was like, yeah, she was just building up like her expenditure of energy
It
until
was an
like
odd choice. I hate when either you have powers or you don't, or use them. Be consistent with. That was my thing. I like the idea of the scene and come out pretty cool. I mean, Captain Marvel died. I think crushed her. Yeah, I know she can get crushed by Thanos, but she dies because a rock falls on her. Fair enough. Ridiculous, but whatever. Fair enough. It was a bad way to die. But
you know how
the whole scene was
I would have
the
done
scene
it.
was just awkward. It just like shit like that like kind of ruined the scene, which would have been so cool. It wasn't a bad scene. Just like damn. Okay.
I was thinking about it. I like the idea that when she was fighting Captain Marvel, I was like, oh, both these
Very
characters
powerful.
got their powers from Infinity
Yeah.
Stones.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's why they were giving that struggle. And it would have been great if in the middle of the fight you saw Wanda ask her, didn't you get your power from an Infinity Stone too? And did she while Captain Marvel like powering up, and then she would have done a spell. She goes, you're just energy, and I control it. And she absorbs Captain Marvel, so just left her clothes, and her clothes fell to the ground. That would have been a really
But that's what I'm
cool.
saying. That's like okay, now using some of the powers. That's what I'm talking about. And that's it was just
Right? Like
inconsistent with that. It was a cool scene,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it just
I see what you're saying.
it
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
been awesome. But whatever. It's a small complaint.
But
It's a small
at the same
complaint. Don't get me
time,
wrong. But it's just it
as
was there.
cool as that, as like I was like maybe not as creative as that was, because like some of the deaths were creative, some of them were very like just
Sure.
you know kick punch. I loved the the Raimi sequence when Mordo is telling Stephen Strange about dream walking and the interchanging of her casting the spells with like the I was like classic Sam
Oh
Raimi where
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
like 3 layers of
yeah,
images. I was
yeah.
like that's awesome.
That
I
vintage Raimi.
loved.
Yeah.
I thought when she went to Kamertage and they were all fighting her, like all the students were fighting her. I thought it looked okay until it was classic Raimi again, where you just had Wanda like appear in the back of that dude's head, like out of nowhere, and like
Yeah,
whisper
yeah,
to him to
run, yeah,
run,
run.
which is kind of a callback to her original powers in Age of
Yeah,
Ultron.
same thing.
And then when that was cool, I was like, okay, I kind of, then I thought, okay, it's kind of like everyone shooting one person who's really strong. But then when Strange trapped her in the mirror dimension and she started coming out of the reflections, like I was like, this is like, it was like great, okay, great, okay, great, okay. It was very much like, it was like holy crap the whole time through.
Right.
And I feel like we should have had at least a good 12 minutes of holy crap the whole way through. I wanted a 12-minute moment in the movie, which
That's
was just
fair.
holy crap.
Fair.
It was like, okay, holy crap. Oh, it was up and downs. And I don't know if they were doing this not to overwhelm us, maybe, because Sam Raimi talked about how the fact that his cut of the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And then they had to bring it down to 2 hours.
Well, they brought it
Marvel's
down,
like, no.
and yeah, and I guess there were scenes that were taken out and added. So who knows?
But like I'm saying, like I think there was a Multiverse of Madness cut, but they brought it down because they just wanted a very tight movie.
And and it kind of makes me think back. Okay, I forgot who left the project, but can't think of his name. But obviously the original
Derek,
director, him leaving, I get it, right? I think his vision was to do
because this is a much different movie
right,
than. And I heard there was a rumor originally that the movie was going to start off with a Doctor Strange and America Chavez being hunted by another Doctor Strange, and that was supposed to be like the rumor was at that time it was the Doctor Strange from Episode 4 of What If, and it gone corrupted. That was the rumor. And now I heard that, and I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but they were saying that in the original cut before Michael Waldron came for the rewrite, the movie would have started with Mordo hunting down Scarlet Witch because he's going after there's too many sorcerers. And he doesn't realize how powerful she's become, and then she kills Mordo. And that was supposed to let you know like how the stakes were high and how the tables had turned. And that was original, but that was when it was supposed to be WandaVision leading directly into Doctor Strange. So that's why why I said like the movie kind of feels uneven is because they changed directors and they changed writers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there was never a real coalescing of like. There was the general nugget of the idea was there. No real coalescing of like what it was supposed to be. So is this a good movie? Yes. Is it a great movie? No. Do people judge it harsher because of the way we were told the project was supposed to be? Absolutely. And Moon Knight suffered from the same thing. Yeah. The first 5 episodes set a standard. The last episode didn't live up to that standard. So we built up an expectation and it wasn't under-delivered. It just wasn't what we were expecting.
Right.
The quality is good.
Yeah.
Quality is good. Everything is firing off cylinders. It just was different. And I feel like it suffered off of like almost like a miscommunication between what they were telling the fans or what they were leading the fans to believe versus what it was really about. And I felt if they were more honest about it, the final reception would have been nothing but positives. And I feel like that was the thing.
It's a big thing, right? Yeah, you're right. Because like expectations always come into play, and again, Multiverse of Madness. We were expecting Multiverse of Madness. We got maybe 2 worlds we saw, and one was just really
what they could have done super cheap. What they could have done is they could have been a whole thing where maybe as they were going, with their first round where they're traveling through all the dimensions, it would have been great if they would have hit a spot where once they hit it. There was another demon coming after them, not Wanda, or maybe even Wanda in a sense, but no, actually not Wanda, but maybe like here's what they should have done when Wanda was first absorbing America Chavez and Strange pushed her out of the way to save her. Wanda should have like thrown another monster to chase them. Not a Gigantos, but another creature from the Marvel universe to chase them. And so first it was like they went through that massive streak to get some distance. And every time they were trying to catch their breath, this would have been fun. They would have been showing up in the world of one of the original Marvel TV show universes, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, that would have been cool because, especially Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has a Darkhold in season 6 or 7. So that could have been a really fun way to kind of go, yeah, all this counts now. This is all multiverse, but we're going to forget they're garbage universes, but they're there. And, just a quick little 2 minutes here. I was thinking about this. I feel like both Doctor Strange and Moon Knight could have been saved to the level that fans wanted if you just would have taped 15 more minutes. If there were just 15 more minutes of episode or movie, you could have used that to make it feel bigger and where we wanted it to be. We just needed 12 to 15 minutes. It's crazy, but 12 to 15 minutes would have made a world of difference.
Like I wanted it because the problem is, there's another problem where they tease some of these multiverses really short, like the cartoon one, the paint one. That would be fucking cool just to go for like 30 seconds to stop in there and what the hell is this, and something comes at them and then they leave. That would have been so cool. And it's like, man, because you showing it to us, and that's the problem. If they had, that whole scene, we just would have gone from where they were to where they ended up. Fine.
Like crashing into things, tumbling, interacting with, just all you needed was something like that.
Running away, and they Wanda is chasing him, whomever that would have been cool as shit. Maybe, and that's when you throw in those cheap cameos. But you could throw that shit in there,
then the second to last world they get to is where the monster finally catches up with them. And when they're killing the monster, Doctor Strange is like, we need to get out of here or else we're going to die with this thing, because he's casting a spell that's going to take out a big area. And that's when they land in the final universe while killing the monster in the second to last universe. You could have had a whole thing like that.
You got to, exactly, absolutely.
And you just wouldn't.
Showing down
another 12 to 15 minutes, and it would have been fantastic.
Yeah, and like I said, it was weird. I guess maybe, I don't know, because we're building up for this multiverse. It seemed like that was the direction more we're going, right? And I'm not saying they're not going there, but the belief was this is the movie that's going to really set that stage, and they didn't do that, right? This is just another contained film, and that's fine. But we still don't know anything about the multiverse, really. That's not really been set up,
right? And that
big thing, right?
Another thing I was really surprised about is that there was no. Okay, let's talk about the post-credit scenes before we talk about the finale. Post-credit scenes, the first one is Charlize Theron shows up as Clea, which is a big, and Clea is the niece of Dormammu. She is a warlord of the Dark Dimensions. She eventually becomes a Sorcerer Supreme of that Dark Dimension. She eventually marries Doctor Strange. In fact, right now in the comics, Doctor Strange is dead, and she's now the Sorcerer Supreme of 2 universes, which is like making her powers go bananas. Wow. So it's really, in fact, the guy who's writing Moon Knight is also writing Doctor Strange, but her as the Sorcerer Supreme, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So what a way to kind of make people care about, like, oh, this is Charlize Theron, guys. So get into this character now. But she mentions the big buzzword for this movie, which is, oh my God, I just drew a blank on it. Not an intersection, is where the 2 multiverses collide to each other. Incursion. It's an incursion. And the whole thing about incursions is, in the comics, it's 2 universes would crash into each other, and the crashing point was always Earth. And so because of that, if they weren't allowed to cross through each other, they would destroy each other. And no one knew how to make them cross through each other without destroying each other. So one Earth would try to destroy the other Earth to save their Earth. And that's the big calamity. So she even says, you caused an incursion to the Dark Universe, you have to come with me. And he jumps in. So you're reestablishing the term incursion, which is a multiverse issue that you already heard from Mr. Fantastic himself, the smartest man on the planet. How is it that you don't have the second post-credit scene? And listen, I love Sam Raimi, and Pizza Joe is fantastic with his pizza balls. I mean, I get it, because Sam Raimi can't do a movie without Bruce Campbell. So you got to have Bruce Campbell there. I totally get it. Yeah. But how could you not have Jonathan Majors come in as Kang? And just for a little lead in to Ant-Man. That's all you needed. Which
makes me wonder, is Kang really going to be that next big villain? I don't know. Now I'm second guessing everything. Like now we have no idea, right? They haven't established, and we talked about Avengers maybe not even happening anytime soon, but we don't know if there is going to be the big overseeing baddie. I don't know if Kang's going to be with that. I don't know, right? Kang's more like, I got a feeling Kang's going to be a one and done for the most part. I'm afraid that's going to happen.
I think that Kang, unfortunately, they're going to make Kang a mid-level villain. Like, he's going to be the second to Big Boss. Not in terms of complexity, but if you want to compare it to anything, Kang is going to be not working directly, but in a sense, the Loki Ronin level boss, which is because the big thing, because they're doing incursions is one of the tenets of the Avengers, New Avengers storyline that led to Secret Wars, which is all done by Jonathan Hickman. And Jonathan Hickman, towards the like phase 3 of the Marvel universe, Marvel's been using tons of Hickman stuff in all their big movies. Now they're talking about incursions. What they're going to do, is that they're leading to Secret Wars, and Secret Wars' big bad guy is Doctor Doom. So if you got Mr. Fantastic and you're talking incursions, that's your big bad. That's it. You're doing. It's all leading to Secret Wars, and Doctor Doom is going to be the uber big bad, and that's
Well,
and
and I
like
think
that's
we'll get that answer sooner because of Black Panther, where he's going to be showing up, right?
well, no,
Um,
Namor shows up in Black
no,
Panther.
Doctor Doom was supposed to be
Oh,
in, yeah,
oh, is
both
it?
of
So
them.
you're right here because
Right, yeah,
Doctor Doom is supposed to be controlling
right.
Namor.
So
You're
we
right.
may get
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
idea if that's really the case or not, or he's just another throw. At this point, I don't know. I really thought this multiverse was going to either end or just expand out to. We didn't get either one, so I don't
Well,
know where we're at with this. Honestly,
you,
it's awkward. This was the movie to do it with, and
it really was,
okay,
and you know, oddly enough, the reason why this movie wasn't that is exactly what we're concerned about. Is like I hope Doctor Strange has a role in this movie. Yeah, Doctor Strange has such a role in this movie. They almost ignored the multiverse
I
issue
know.
to focus on
they
Doctor
went, they
Strange.
went, they went to one extreme. It's like,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
have done 60%. You could not give me 60% Doctor
yeah,
Strange. I would have
and
been
and
fine
they
with
and
that.
they gave you
50.
73. They gave you 73%. There were like four
No, not even.
Stranges
Like,
in
the
this
game was
movie.
like it was 90% Doctor
Yeah,
Strange
I
in
mean,
this,
listen, and I gotta tell
which
you,
is
I love the
fine, not a
Strange.
bad thing, but you know
I loved zombie Doctor Strange with the cloak of demon
that
souls.
was
Oh,
cool.
that was
That was cool.
amazing.
Yeah,
I loved
that
Evil
was very cool.
Strange, who has a magic music fetish, like all that. But the
That
big,
was weird to me, but whatever. Fair enough.
I you know, I loved it. You know, I love the idea that they were using music
The notes,
with
yeah,
magic, so that the magic made music. I was like, oh, this is so fun. Like, like you can only do that once.
right.
So why not do it? You know,
Sure.
'cause you only get one shot of this. So
Right.
just have fun with it. 'Cause if you do it again, like
No, no,
another
yeah,
music
yeah, yeah. It's not
battle,
gonna.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm
this is
sort of
a.
done.
Yeah, we've
But
seen
like,
it.
if you're gonna
Great.
do it once, have fun with it, and you know now you get to move on for.
Sure.
So I mean, it was a very like you got to see a semi-evil Doctor Strange get destroyed by Black Bolt after stopping Thanos. Like there was so many Doctor Stranges in this movie. It was clearly a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like the idea of what they did, and they
Yeah.
made sure this was a Doctor Strange. Now, is it like I said? Is it the Doctor Strange that I feel like hardcore Doctor Strange fans wanted? No, Doctor Strange is much more aggressive and calculating and apathetic, and sometimes a little mean than he is in the movies. The movies is much more likable, and I think they kind of wanted somebody who was like when the shit got real, he got serious, which is how Doctor Strange is in the comics. And you didn't get that. He fought for he wanted to, but there wasn't that sort of like intensity about like this is what's happening. Like he does not carrying the weight of the multiverse on his shoulders. You know,
True.
he was
Agreed.
just trying to stop Wanda, which I feel is part of the reason why he was able to stop Wanda because it was that compassion. Doctor Strange kind of like sometimes the pressure of what he's going through, he lets everyone know how serious what he's doing is. So like I feel like that's what people kind of wanted a little bit of Doctor Strange about is like taking everything so serious instead of just kind of internal. What Doctor Strange in the movies does was he internalizes it and he has a little bit more optimism than normal. Mm-hmm. That's the big change between the two. So I still had fun with this Strange. I still had fun with the movie. I'm really excited about seeing what Clea's gonna do now because I mean, listen, Charlize Theron went from Fast and the Furious to Doctor Strange. That is quite a leap of franchises. That is a multiverse you just crossed.
That's an upgrade as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it is, but that is a big multiversal jump. Well, what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's still in a superhero movie, the superhero movie, so it's with the.
It's true.
The genre is the same.
Fair.
But
you're right.
It's a higher quality of that genre.
You're right.
With Marvel.
But
it's good to see. I love Charlize Theron, so it's cool to see her. I was like, that was a big surprise. Like, oh, yeah. Nice. Okay.
I'm excited.
That was probably the biggest surprise of the movie, to be honest with you.
It's one of the big surprises. I thought the whole Illuminati, the fact that Kevin Feige brought back Ensign Malik, who was a Jeff Loeb pick, and Kevin Feige does not like Jeff Loeb, and so he's still like, hey, listen. You were picked by somebody I don't enjoy, but I just brought back Daredevil and Kingpin, and I'm feeling generous. So how would you like to look like the way you're supposed to look like instead of that garbage fire you were in a TV show? Oh, and by the way, you're going to die like 3 minutes after getting introduced. All right, cool.
This is all you get.
Yeah, but you get to kill Doctor Strange live, so enjoy that. You're gonna have a moment, is what I'm saying. But then you're gonna get
Fair,
wiped out
fair.
completely. So just saying. So, but yeah, I mean, all things considered, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought the action was fun. I thought the acting was great. I liked America Chavez.
Yeah,
I even liked what they did with Wanda. And for everyone who's
yeah, I
like,
liked
oh,
Wanda.
they diminish her as a character to like a woman stereotype, I'm like, no, it was a Darkhold. It's a Darkhold that
Yeah,
the
I
same
agree. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's not.
the same reason that they had to kill the Doctor Strange from the Illuminati world because he got corrupted by the
Right.
Darkhold. She had it for longer and was doing worse with it, so
Yeah.
that's why it
No,
was a
yeah, I'm with you there. I don't. I like that. So I think it's one of the biggest things. My takeaways was her as far as a
yeah,
character.
yeah. I
Um,
really enjoyed it.
yeah. I mean, they didn't lean on. Which kind of makes me wonder if you could have not seen WandaVision and not missed a beat. I would probably say yeah for the most part. Am I wrong in that?
Yes and no because
I mean,
like they once again the one problem from this movie is the one problem with the last episode of Moon Knight. It went a little too fast because they wanted to get through a lot of things,
right. Yeah.
and that's the problem. It's that both of these rushed through the part that we were looking forward to the most. And if they could have had 12 minutes, they could have changed things up, took their time with it, and really given us exactly what we wanted from everything. It's crazy. Both problems could have been solved with
No, yeah,
12
it's
to
just, yeah,
15 minutes.
it's weird. Yeah, but but you're right. This, like I said before, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's good. It's a good film. It's not a great one.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just not a
And
great movie. It's not a
I
great
rate it
MCU.
higher than you do, but not by
Yeah,
much. Like it is to me, it's tier two, but
no, that's
lower
fair.
end.
Yeah, like I said, I figure you may end up landing on that side. Again,
Yeah.
not a great film, not a great MCU, but it's a good fun movie. It's entertaining. Yeah,
It's good. That's not great.
it's good.
It's good.
It's a good.
I think it's
It's good.
really good.
It's
It's
fun.
not great
No, it's not
though,
great.
but
It's
it's
fun,
really good.
entertaining.
Absolutely.
Good on that. It's just again, this was the movie to really launch something. I want to launch something
Yeah, yeah.
more,
Well,
right?
it's a little bit of a bummer that we're gonna have to wait for Thor: Love and Thunder to really kick
And
off what we
I don't
want it
even,
to be.
I don't think that's even the case. I think that's going to be more of a contained film as well, in terms of.
I think it's gonna kick off a little bit about like people when they watch Thor, they're gonna be like, "That's a Marvel movie that I
No,
wanted.
in
That's the
terms of
Marvel movie."
quality, yes, no question. But in terms of just
I feel
the
like Thor is
impact
gonna be
on the world of
closer.
the MCU and where it's headed, I don't think that movie's gonna have a big bearing on that.
I think the after credit scene will
Maybe,
have a
maybe.
bigger
Maybe it's like
implication to it
For Guardians or
because
something like that. Oh, maybe Captain Marvel.
but in terms of like quality and
Oh no, no,
emotional
listen.
investment and everything else, I see Thor and No Way Home being very much on the same
For
level of like
I think
quality.
Thor is gonna be better than No Way Home, as far as I. Yeah,
You think so?
yeah,
All right,
I think
cool.
so. I do, and
That's I,
I'm hoping so. But again,
if they're
worst
on the
case
same level,
is
I'll
high
be super
tier
happy.
two. I had No Way Home was just a tier two, middle high, but this was a high tier. This has a chance to be tier one. I hope so, man.
I put No
Listen,
Way Home and Homecoming both as tier
it's
one
fine. Yeah, it's fair. I
Marvel
guess, and you
movies.
have him higher than that. That's fair. But I think Thor will be probably better. I don't know. Thor Ragnarok is great.
That's great.
That's
It's
tier one.
fantastic.
There's no argument. I don't think there's any argument with that. It's tier one.
Yeah.
It's but last 10 years, it's probably been the best Marvel film in the last one of the best in the last 4 or 5 years. Um,
No,
well,
because I still put Endgame and Infinity War as the best Marvel movies in the last 10 years.
no, but
It's
no,
true.
that's fair. That's its own category. That's not a standalone as some of these other ones are. I guess neither Thor Ragnarok
Right,
as much,
right,
but
right.
whatever. If I was a singular character title, titular characters,
Okay, as a single character
right?
title
It
movie,
may be the
I could
best. It
see
may be the
Thor.
best one
Yes.
out of that. If we're discounting the Infinity Wars, which is fine, fair
Yeah, yeah,
statement. So I'm looking.
sure.
Listen, I hope so, man. Dude, that's like a month and a half from now. It's not that far away. Or less
Yeah,
than 2 months.
it's my
Yeah. Oh,
birthday
that's right.
month, so
Yeah.
I'm
So
super
that's July.
excited.
When it's July, right? Yeah, July
July,
something.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
They're June, July 8th. My birthday's like
there
two
you go.
weeks after that.
So
So
yeah, hopefully I get to see that earlier. But yeah,
yeah,
so looking forward to it.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's, like I said, that's the next one on the radar in terms of movies. We got Kenobi. I get it. It's coming up. We got The Boys in June. Yeah, buddy. To hold us over until Thor comes out, so that's very exciting. But yeah, dude. So those are the nuggets and the main course for today.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We appreciate all you guys for tuning and watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Let us know about what you thought about the show, what you thought about our takes. Give us your own personal takes. We'd love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram at NerdsplainingPod. You can follow us on Twitter at Nerdsplaining_. You can listen to all the original audio episodes at ericdasilva.com, DASILVA, ericdasilva.com. While you're there, don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive, available on all the digital streaming audio things at Pandora Station, blah blah blah, all that stuff's there. Don't forget to check it out. I really appreciate all the guys for buying this album. Thank you so much, guys. Also, don't forget, if you like this show, you can watch so many more shows like Nerdsplaining on the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube. You can watch the watch list where Jose talks about all the new TV shows of all the stuff, not just comic books, all the TV shows that are coming on all the platforms. You can check it out there. We have Thanos' Choice. We have like an IP battle to the death. It's super fun as well. We got other shows we're working on as well, so we can't wait to tell you more about that. And guys, don't forget to tell your friends and follow us and like and subscribe as well, because the more people that like and subscribe us, the more times we get to do this and we get to pay more so we can quit our jobs and just talk about nerd stuff with you all the time. It'll be fantastic. Guys, thank you for tuning in for This Week in Geek here at Nerdsplaining. I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. If you don't know, now you know.